Hello everyone. Normally I keep real world politics entirely separate from the game and especially from this YouTube channel, but this is as good a day as any to break with this tradition. As you may know, Guild Wars 2, despite playing in a fantasy world with magic and futuristic technology, is shaped by contemporary real world events. The Syrian civil war and the displacement of millions of Syrian civilians who are seeking shelter from war, poverty and hunger in neighboring countries as well as in Europe inspired quests and plot points in Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire expansion. Whether we are escorting refugees to safety, providing medicine and food to wounded civilians, or fighting the radicalization of disillusioned refugees, there are very clear parallels to be drawn between the storyline in Guild Wars 2 and the real world. And we are siding very clearly with the humanitarian approach, one that does not let civilians perish in war, but seeks to provide for those in need. Inside the game, this is a no-brainer, and I assume many a player plays through the storyline without viewing this as a politically contentious topic. Similarly, the love story of Cass and Jory is just that, a normal story of two Tyrians who love each other and want to live together until death parts them. When we were sent to infiltrate the camp of enemies in disguise, we were given a choice to present as male, female or neither gender, regardless of our character choices in the character selection screen. Is that politics in a video game? Could that be political? I don't think so. All of these plot points are just normal stories. Unfortunately, not everyone agrees with that. In the real world, gender ideology or the trans agenda are contentious political topics. Around the world, protections for queer minorities are being rolled back as we speak. The Pride Parade in Turkey this month was broken up by police. In the United States, truly horrifying anti-LGBTQ+ laws are being drafted and passed on a state level. In Russia, being gay is literally a health hazard. And what happens in Israel once their Supreme Court's power is reduced? Nobody can tell. But it is not just a struggle in very religious countries you may never travel to. As an example, in Germany, violent crimes against queer people are increasing rapidly. So without question, the topic of having a gender identity and loving your partner or your partners is a political topic. Not by choice of the LGBTQ+ community, but by the assholes who want to dispose of them. As a result, we have no choice but to recognize that this is an ongoing fight, and it is a fight that affects everyone. In Switzerland, about 6% of the population identify as transgender, non-binary or gender fluid. If you are alive, you probably know someone affected by the lack of trans rights. If you don't know anyone, you might live in a society where it's not even safe for them to share their coming out with their friends. Of course, a pride parade in Tyria is not going to change the world. It is a small demonstration that they are there, the LGBTQ+ community and their allies. In Tyria, they need not be afraid of being discriminated against, hunted down by police or identified by their neighbors and later on become the victim of a hate crime. When we compare this to the real world situation, we know that there is still a long way to go. In the real world, riot police can disperse protesters, legislators can draft tyrannical laws, judges can hand out sentences, and criminals can attack queer people in the streets. In Tyria, the Pride March is literally unstoppable. If we want this to become a reality in the real world, we need to put more effort into building a stronger community. The LGBTQ+ community will never have the strength of numbers to win their battles on their own. Showing solidarity and unity must be a priority to all of us. Even if you are not personally attacked when someone uses a homophobic slur, it's still your turn to speak up. Because the enemies of the queer community, they are organizing. In the United States, they are calling it anti-wokeism, and the term is quickly spreading around the globe to rally their supporters for upcoming elections. Do we want to close our eyes in the face of that? The least all of us can do is to also allow a little bit of politics into our daily lives. Even if you think that politics is boring or describe yourself as apolitical, remember that there are people out there who do not have this privilege. LGBTQ+ people cannot escape the politicization of their daily lives. Our apathy towards their struggles is paid with their human rights. Let me close this video with a quote by Jon Stewart. "You are tired of hearing about it? Imagine how exhausting it is living it." So let this Pride Month be a reminder to all of us outside the LGBTQ+ community that they cannot be apolitical spectators. And to everyone in the queer community, I wish you a happy Pride Month.